Hi guys, my name is Tom, and in my today's presentation, I will let you guys to figure out what is the exact effect caused by the information cocoon in our daily life. So, just a quick question before I started my real presentation. Have you, some of you guys, when you are scrolling through in your iPhones, maybe in the TikTok, you saw a video which you really show interest in, and it is fantastic. After you stay in that video for approximately maybe more than 1 minute, you find that the system keep recommending yourself with similar content videos continuously. So raise up your hand if this phenomenon is common among you guys. Okay, so to begin with, I think it is definitely necessary for me to clarify the definition of information cocoon. In everyday life, cocoon refers to a barrier made by insects like caterpillars and silkworms. According to common sense, they endure from hardships, difficulties, and ultimately, they overcome all obstacles they faced inside the cocoon and break through their self-made barriers. Ultimately, they emerge as beautiful butterflies. Under Chinese cultural background, the cocoon metaphor is always used to encourage individuals to work harder and finally achieve success. However, in my today's presentation, cocoons takes on a completely different meaning. Although it still refers to a barrier that can prevent us from making progress. But this barrier is much more difficult to be tackled, to be broken, than the cocoon made by those insects. Since it is invisible, you do not know when it is formed, how it is formed, or even you know how it is formed and you are imprisoned by it. Not any kind of effective measures can be carried out. That's the reason why today I want to mention about the information cocoon. As I just mentioned about, in today's life, in the contemporary society, many social media platforms use algorithms to detect users' preferences and interests. Then they push content which the individuals really show interest in to them. Those videos, passages must be the one you really enjoyed. So that many internet users end up seeing only information which they aligns with existing interests. For instance, several weeks ago, when I was preparing for this presentation, I read a news report about a group of Chinese international students who encountered social divisions, isolations, and cultural misunderstandings while studying overseas. They sent their stories to the internet to seek for help. You can imagine that from our common sense or from our perspectives, most of the commentators would just simply offer constructive advice or express their understandings to their compatriots. However, below the news report, many commentators criticize them for not adapting well. Some even accuse them of forgetting their roots, which labeling them as disconnected from their own culture. I do not know how you guys may react to this example. I believe that many of you, majority of you guys, may simply regard those examples, those comments, as typical harsh online judgments, since the current internet atmosphere, just like this. Why we should be surprised? How does it be worth to be researched deeply? However, if we look deeper, the situation may be much more complicated. Although we cannot deny that many of the internet users, the commentators, made their comments, those radical and extreme sayings, to attract traffic effect, to provoke attentions. Maybe there are forms behind them. They have to make profits. So it's common. However, it is definitely that many of those commentators are trapped in an information cocoon. Some of them may be some of them may just want to emphasize the importance of cultural preservation. However, due to long-term exposure to one-sided narratives, which overemphasizing the importance of cultural superiority and tradition materials, many of them have formed a rigid view of what does it mean to be loyal to one's culture. It is not to say that valuing tradition is completely wrong, but what is problematic to lead the outcome to be so divisive and harsh? So, who is at fault? If no one is at fault, why those people, after reading news reports, after reading paper-based materials, after reading everything about cultural preservation, cultural pride, dare to criticize their compatriots who are suffering from hardships for such narrow reasons? The cultural preservation, the cultural pride doesn't teach us to forget understanding others. They are not contradictory. They can be happened simultaneously. So what could be a possible explanation? How things going on? Why the result is so bad, so serious? One possible explanation is that many of these individuals constantly exposed to one-sided narratives emphasizing the cultural superiority are likely to become overconfident and rigid, so that in their mind, they just simply deny all the other ways of living. They reject to connect with this globally embraced world. They cannot accept anyone with different opinions from them. They cannot understand other ways of living. From their perspectives, they're all inferior. They're all less valid. From a broader level, the most dangerous thing is that those individuals who were imprisoned or currently confined within the information cocoon, within their own comfort zone, gradually lose the ability of empathetic co-thinking. That's the most dangerous things. And they become hostile towards each other from different cultural backgrounds, have different experiences. And then a society which is indifferent, harsh, and divisive is gradually formed. As another point is that we cannot blame that all these kind of effects, all these kind of negative consequences are brought or generated by those forms, those social media platforms, as long as they do not recommend them personal news or personal information, the things will be better. All the forms have the right to pursue development and sustain its operations. And you can imagine that if all contents available online have similar topics, what will happen? Users will end up losing the interest in the internet altogether. While you go to look at a website which offers you constant or similar content to others without personal suggestions, personal recommendations, why the internet, the digital devices are still enjoyable or intriguing. At my end part of the presentation, I want to introduce some methods used to help us with breaking the information cocoon. You can refresh your search history regularly. If you find that you search for one topic for more than 3 times, then delete it. The algorithm will detect this trend and stop recommending you too much content with similar topic. Or when you're finding the system push similar content videos or multiple things to you regularly or within one day, you can mark this content as not interested anymore. The system will also stop recommending you similar content. Although it cannot let all the passages, all the contents which are radical, one-sided, disappear in this world entirely. But it can at least help you with breaking down this repetitive circulation. In conclusion, the information cocoon reminds us to remain conscious about the information around us. Do not trust those videos easily. Do not lose your ability of telling right from wrong. Do not stop making critical thinkings. As long as you can carry out these steps, the information cocoon can be partially broken, and one extra unit of warmth can be brought to this world. Thank you guys very much.